The strongest force isn't the one that shouts the loudest, it's the one that doesn't need to. In a world obsessed with retaliation, clapbacks, and proving your worth at every turn, silence can feel like surrender. We're taught to fight back when disrespected, to raise our voices when overlooked, and to retaliate when attacked. But what if the real power lies not in resistance, but in restraint? This is the paradox. You gain true dominance not by opposing the enemy's energy, but by mastering your own. That's where Machiavelli enters. Niccolo Machiavelli, the controversial thinker of power, manipulation, and political control, understood something most people still don't. He believed that control over one's image, emotion, and reaction is far more lethal than brute force. He wrote in The Prince, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But fear, in this sense, wasn't about violence. It was about control, of perception, of timing, of silence. So today, we explore 6 silent rules for total dominance. These aren't about empty flexes or mind games. They're about calculated growth, unseen strength, and the subtle art of becoming unshakable. Let's begin this journey with open eyes. Not just looking outward, but inward. You'll find that dominance isn't about controlling others. It's about never letting them control you. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. Silence is my strongest move. Before we dive in, make sure you like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe to the channel and don't skip any part of this video. Every section builds the foundation for something powerful. Number 1. Stop explaining yourself. Benjamin Disraeli said, "Never complain, never explain." One of the most potent forms of power is the ability to walk away from the need to be understood. Most people are addicted to justification. They constantly explain their decisions, defend their actions, and seek validation. But every time you over-explain, you give others a piece of your power. You tell them, "You matter more than my peace." Dominance begins the moment you stop handing over that power. Think about this. Have you ever watched someone say no without a reason, or make a move that defied expectations, yet refused to explain it? There's something magnetic about that. Mysterious, even a little intimidating. That's because power resides in minimalism, in simplicity, in clarity that doesn't beg to be understood. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. He advised rulers to act decisively, but obscure their true intentions. If people don't know why you do what you do, they can't predict you, control you, or manipulate you. That unpredictability, that's dominance. Now let's talk real life. Maybe you're growing in silence, changing your habits, walking away from toxic people. Maybe your success hasn't bloomed yet and people are questioning you. Don't answer them. Let time answer them. Every explanation you give is a leak in the dam you're building. And trust me, the dam is holding something massive. People fear what they can't read. They can dismiss what they understand. But if you're a quiet storm, moving with intention without justification, you become untouchable. Here's the truth no one tells you. The strongest people walk away from arguments they could win just to protect their peace. They know a reaction is a distraction. If someone needs to know why you moved, they probably weren't moving with you anyway. This silence, it's not weakness. It's a weapon. You don't owe them an explanation. You owe yourself results. Number 2. Let their ego bury them. Napoleon Bonaparte said, "When the enemy is making a false move, don't interrupt him." Dominance isn't always about pushing forward. Sometimes it's about strategic stillness, watching others overplay their hand while you remain unmoved. Ego is a blindfold, and the most dangerous people in any room are the ones who believe they're untouchable. Here's the rule. When someone disrespects you, underestimates you, or tries to provoke you, don't correct them. Let them believe you're nothing. Let them relax. Let their guard drop. Then rise. Machiavelli believed in appearances, not because they were fake, but because they were strategic. To appear weaker than you are, to act less aware than you truly are. This gives you access, it gives you insight, and more importantly, it gives your opponent room to expose themselves. Real dominance is this: resisting the urge to prove. Because the moment you try to prove something, you're already playing on their level. And if their level is ego, guess what? They're already more practiced at playing that game. Let them talk. Let them underestimate you. Let them mistake your silence for ignorance. While they're busy performing, you're building. This happens in every aspect of life: careers, relationships, social status. Someone thinks they've outplayed you. They flaunt their position. They mock your silence. But if you stay patient, grounded, and strategic, they begin to self-destruct. The louder they get, the more exposed they become. And when their ego spirals out of control, they dig their own grave. Have you ever seen someone get too comfortable, start acting reckless because they thought you weren't a threat? It happens all the time. In those moments you have a choice: match their energy or master yours. Choose mastery. You don't dominate the chessboard by moving every piece at once. You win by letting your opponent believe you're losing right before you strike with clarity. Let their ego build the stage. You just wait for the curtain to fall. Number 3. Success is the only response. The Joker in The Dark Knight said, "If you're good at something, never do it for free." Now let's talk about the ultimate silent power move, leveling up so loud you never need to say a word. There's something poetic about becoming too focused on your growth to even acknowledge the noise around you. People throw shade, you build. People question your value, you build. People try to stir drama, you build. That's the formula. Machiavelli knew that public perception was everything. He warned leaders not to waste time defending their character, but to instead focus on achievements that silenced critics on their own. In other words, don't talk about power, build it. The most misunderstood people in the world are the ones mid-transformation. You're not where you used to be, but you're not quite there yet. So what happens? People judge, they doubt, they belittle. And in that fragile in-between space, most people break. But not you. Your job is to build in the dark. Don't announce every step. Don't post every plan. Don't clap back. Let your growth embarrass them. Let your evolution humiliate their assumptions. You'll notice something when you truly start leveling up. You get quieter. It's not fear, it's focus. You begin to realize that silence is not emptiness, it's full of motion. Real change makes less noise than fake confidence. You may feel invisible right now. That's okay. It's part of the design. Caterpillars don't scream before they become butterflies. They isolate, they transform, and when they emerge, they don't have to explain anything. Their wings do the talking. Be that. Let people wonder what you're building. Let them speculate. Let them fall silent when you walk in the room a few months from now, not because you talked, but because you became. This is how the powerful win. With results, with silence, with evolution that can't be denied. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. Success is my only response. Number 4. Disappear to rise. Marcus Aurelius said, "Withdraw into yourself. It is in the silence that you will find strength." Sometimes the most dominant move is to walk away, not in anger, not in weakness, but in strategy. There comes a moment when your growth no longer fits the space you're in. The conversations feel shallow, the energy feels heavy, the expectations are too low. That's when it's time to disappear. This isn't isolation, it's incubation. Machiavelli wasn't a fan of the crowd. He warned rulers that the masses are fickle. They praise you one day and curse you the next. That's why true rulers learn to govern from a distance, not out of arrogance, but preservation. Distance gives you perspective, and perspective gives you power. There's something sacred about stepping back. You stop performing, you stop reacting, you stop feeding the noise. And in that silence, you get reacquainted with your mission. You recalibrate, you rebuild. But society hates when you disappear. Why? Because when you're not constantly available, you're unpredictable. And unpredictable people are dangerous because they can't be controlled. So people will guilt you. They'll say you've changed, that you're acting different. Good, that's the point. You're not supposed to stay in the same cycles forever. You're not supposed to remain accessible to the same drama, the same gossip, the same comfort zone. Your withdrawal is your weapon. Use it. When you're off the radar, you stop being influenced by comparison. You start tuning into your own voice. And when you return, if you choose to, you come back sharper, calmer, more focused than ever. People don't recognize you anymore, and they shouldn't. Let the old version of you rest in peace. You don't owe anyone access to your healing process. You don't have to announce your goals, just vanish, and then rise, like the moon disappearing behind clouds, only to reappear, brighter, fuller, undeniable. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I disappear to rise higher. Number 5. Don't react, record. Lao Tzu said, "He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still." There is a reflex most people can't control, the need to react. Someone insults you, you fire back. Someone doubts you, you try to prove them wrong. Someone disrespects you, you defend yourself. But here's the rule: every reaction is a transaction, and you pay with your power. Machiavelli understood that emotions cloud judgment. The prince who reacts impulsively is easily manipulated. But the prince who observes, who records, who stores information for the right moment is deadly. Think about the most dangerous players in any room. They're not the loudest. They're not the most aggressive. They're the most still. They're watching, taking notes, learning patterns, collecting data. And when the moment is right, they move with precision. That's what you do now. You don't argue with fools. You study them. You don't retaliate when attacked. You analyze. You don't respond to every jab. You record it for the day you need that leverage. You become strategic, not passive, intentional. This applies in every arena. In relationships, when someone tries to gaslight you, don't debate. Observe their behavior. Record it in your mind. Trust the pattern. In work, when someone undermines you, don't react emotionally. Log it. Understand their play. Use it to outmaneuver them when the opportunity arises. In public, when someone tries to humiliate you, stay composed. They're telling the world more about themselves than about you. Let their insecurity expose them. This isn't about being cold, it's about being clear. You're not a puppet, you're not on strings, and you don't dance when someone pulls. Your power lies in your ability to choose when, how, and if you respond. Because while they're reacting to everything, you're building something, a memory bank, a strategy, a legacy. And when the time comes, you'll move with so much accuracy that they'll think it was luck. But it wasn't. It was restraint. Number 6. Kill them with indifference. Anton Chekhov said, "To be insulted by a fool is a pleasure." There's a moment in your growth where you don't even feel the disrespect anymore. Not because people stopped trying, but because you stopped caring. That moment, that's real dominance. You've probably heard the phrase, "kill them with kindness." But kindness still requires energy. It still acknowledges them. What if you went further? What if you killed them with indifference? That's the final form of power. apathy to nonsense. Machiavelli believed that rulers must learn to be unaffected by the petty. He wrote that a wise leader must appear to be virtuous, but only act when it's in his interest. That means ignoring minor insults, irrelevant battles, and anything that doesn't serve your larger vision. Not because you're weak, but because you're focused. The truth is, not everything deserves your energy. Not every insult needs a comeback. Not every rumor deserves a defense. The most powerful people have learned this. Their value is not up for debate, and indifference is terrifying to the insecure. They want to see you flinch. They want to see you break character. When you don't, they unravel. Think about it. When someone tries to provoke you and you simply smile, nod, or even walk away, what happens? They escalate. They get louder, more dramatic. Why? Because your silence is deafening. It says, "I'm not on your level." That's what dominance looks like. Not noise, not revenge, but the cold, quiet decision to not even acknowledge the attempt. Let them talk. Let them try to provoke you. Let them ask why you're not affected. Let them wonder. While they obsess over your silence, you're building something bigger. You've mastered your reactions, your presence, and your peace. And that kind of control, it cannot be challenged. It cannot be faked. It cannot be bought. It's earned through emotional discipline. So, from now on, the next time someone tries to pull you into a pointless conflict, don't respond. Don't defend. Don't explain. Just move forward like they never existed. That's how you dominate, by not even entering the arena. That's not weakness. That's emotional immortality. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You've now seen all 6 silent rules for total dominance, but here's what ties them all together: self-mastery. Every point in this video wasn't just about strategy, it was about you. Your silence, your restraint, your growth, your indifference. These are not signs of withdrawal. They are the cornerstones of Stoic power. Stoicism teaches us something that perfectly echoes Machiavelli's darker genius. If you can control yourself, no one else can. Let them underestimate you. Let them gossip. Let them wonder. Your strength is not proven through noise, but through what you don't do. You don't react. You don't beg. You don't explain. You don't engage in petty wars. Because you're building an empire within. The Stoics believed that the greatest victory is victory over the self. Not your enemies, not your competitors, not the world, just you. That inner voice that wants to lash out. That ego that wants revenge. That fear that wants validation. You dominate that voice, and everything else falls in place. Machiavelli taught us to rule through perception. Stoicism teaches us to rule through principle. Combine them, and you become untouchable. So here's the final message. Don't fight back. Don't make noise. Don't react. Master yourself. Move in silence. Let the results roar. This is your time to rise in a way that no one can block, because no one even sees it coming. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence speaks louder than their noise. If this video woke something up in you, if it made you pause, reflect, and feel more powerful in your presence, then don't keep this to yourself. Like this video, comment your favorite rule, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to the channel, because this is just the beginning. You're not just learning power, you're becoming it. Until next time, move in silence, rule with presence.